What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be chatting about a new season of a show that we recently watched and got into, and that show is Tires on Netflix.
Right, yeah. Tires with Shane Gillis on Netflix. They recently dropped their third season. We had made a video about season one and two a couple weeks ago now. And yeah, we really enjoyed season one and two, and we were looking forward to season three. And yeah, we just wrapped it up, kind of binged it. So we figured we'd chat about it.
Yes, yeah, that sounds good. So what was your overall take on season three? Like initially, I guess, how did
Yeah.
you feel when you first started? And
Overall, I have to say I was really impressed with season three. I honestly think season three has been the best season
wow,
so far of Tires. Netflix, if you're out there, we need more of this show. I think this is another one of those shows that could potentially run like 9, 10 to 20 seasons. You know what I mean? And I think 12 episodes is a little bit lackadaisical on Netflix's part. Because
yes.
again, when you have something good, when you have a good show, kind of like The Office, kind of like shows of past days, you should go ahead and run with it, take that momentum. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. So, what about you?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it as well. I mean, season three was definitely the most captivating, I would say, for me, the most where we felt like connected with the characters and more
Yeah,
like we got backstory on them and more intimate in their personal lives. So
yeah,
I really
yeah.
liked that aspect as well. And they also just like when all of them kind of went on journeys throughout the whole season. So
Yeah,
I liked that
definitely.
a lot.
They did such a good job with the character development throughout this season. They did a really good job of the continuation of season one and two, but also like doing a good job of setting up a lot of potential for the future as well.
Facts.
We were kind of worried about mid-season when we were like, dang, another crisis, another issue that's going to potentially lead them out of business.
Right.
But they kind of wrapped it up in a really nice way. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for the future with this show Tires, because yeah, I think Netflix is really just getting started with this story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, they could run 20 seasons and
Why
each
not?
season, I mean, the episodes are short. They're like 20 minutes a piece. So
Yeah,
like each season could reasonably be up to 20 episodes a piece. I mean, I know it started out, I think the first season was 6 episodes, so they did get longer. And the
yeah,
second and third seasons are
yeah,
both
yeah.
12 episodes. So we
It's
could
clearly
definitely
got that.
see, yeah, they have that momentum. But keep it coming. Just keep it
Yeah,
coming. We
yeah,
want to watch
definitely.
more.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely want to watch more. And I mean, Shane Gillis, obviously the main character, just really fantastic. I mean, he's so funny, so dynamic, and brings such a interesting element to the show. And all of the supporting cast as well. Will, Cal,
Kyla,
Kyla,
Phil,
Phil, like all of the supporting cast are
Dave.
also really good as well. Yeah, it's hard not to laugh when you hear Dave's name. But yeah, I think for me early on, I would say definitely recommend watching season three of Tires. It's definitely worth the watch. Has tons of good laughs, tons of good vibes throughout the season,
Mm-hmm.
but also features a lot of wholesome moments and character development within the greater development of Valley Forge Auto Shop. So
Yes.
highly recommend the watch. What would you rate it
Oh,
if you
okay.
had to
I
out of
had
10? Yeah.
to rate it the whole season out of 10. I mean, I'd give it like an 8, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. What about you?
Yeah, I think an 8.5. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I thought it was a really good season. Like I said, like best one of the season so far, or of this show so far, and that's why I kind of feel like the potential is so bright. The future could be so bright with this show. So hopefully Shane Gillis and the other producers are out there grinding in the
I
background
know,
to
right?
try and get us some more episodes as soon as possible. Since of course this is a Netflix series, hopefully the crowd is behind the show.
Yes, true. I'm sure
um
they're getting a lot of watch time on it. I
yeah,
would think. I mean,
definitely.
it's an Emmy nominee. I don't know if
Right,
they got the
right,
Emmy, but
right. Yeah, not sure. And we had looked last time, it was like one episode, like a
yeah,
specific
got like
moment had
I don't
gotten
remember.
nominated. But
Yeah.
but yeah, but overall I think the season was really good. A really great watch, hilarious throughout, so many
Yes.
laughs throughout the season. And for a comedy show, again, that's really all you're looking for. You want those laughs, you want those moments, and I feel
Yes,
like they did a great
facts.
job of delivering that. So I was really, really thoroughly satisfied with this season.
Yeah, me too, honestly, Millie. I feel like they did do a great job with the jokes, the laughs, and then also
Yeah.
the serious parts, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, they did a
a
lot
was
with
going.
this season. They
Yeah,
did a
a
lot.
lot. It's hard to believe it was only 12 episodes.
I know.
All the things they covered.
Yeah, I'm like running through everything in my head, and I'm like,
there was so much.
they did the whole FBI thing. They did the whole like Shane's girlfriend's thing. They did the whole like Will trope with the job thing, and
Right, yeah.
Phil's whole thing. I mean, Dave's whole. I mean, everybody had something going on.
For real.
Kyla had some stuff going on with
we got
her
a Kyla
person.
episode. That was really
So,
cool. That was a good episode.
Yeah, it really was. So it was just like so much.
Yeah, definitely. It was so much, so many things going on. And that's why it was like so enjoyable, and like you said, so captivating throughout the season, because there were so many underlying stories. So without further ado, with that said, let's get into that. So from this moment on, there will be spoilers. We're going to be chatting about the ins and outs of the season. You know our rating, you know how we felt about it. So we're going to be speaking about it in the light in which we viewed it. But there will be spoilers from this point on.
Yes, all spoilers. Basically.
Yeah, basically. So anyway, so get us into episode 1.
Well, episode 1, I mean, I feel like it basically starts, they're already struggling. The business is already struggling.
Yeah, F1.
They kind of gave us a little flashback to Will when he first started at Valley Forge, and like
a little backstory of how he got fired.
Yep, about how he was fired from his last job, and then he kind of, I think they show a little bit of that, and then it flashes forward to like now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we saw Dave in episode 1. If you know, Dave is the cousin of Will and Shane in the show.
Yeah.
He's the one who was having the affair in season 2. And so it was pretty funny. He was going to like Sex Addicts Anonymous.
Yeah. He was
trying to get his life together.
He
was trying to like keep his wife, trying to do all the things. But
if you were watching, you know he wasn't serious.
No,
he wasn't really learning.
Everything he was saying, it was so robotic. Like someone was forcing him like to say what he was saying.
Literally, he sounded like an ad for monogamy. I was like, what the hell is he talking?
He was cracking me up. That was hysterical.
Anything he's saying right now.
Facts. And then we kind of also had the play of Shane, you know, the what are they called? The Italian brothers, the Wops.
Oh yeah.
The Wops came over and they were showing Shane like they were, I think it's WOP. Oh, okay. I was like, all right, I don't, is it offensive? Anyway, well, it's what they call it, what they're called in the show.
Yeah, it's what they call them. Yeah, the Italians.
Not meant to be offensive if it is
no, I
know. To any group of people out there. But they're essentially swiping through a dating app, and Shane is kind of watching them while they're doing this and sees someone that he dated in high school. And that kind of like sparks him to kind of start dating again. I mean, we hadn't really seen Shane be in anything serious throughout the duration of season 1 and 2. So in season 3, we were definitely kind of getting more of like Shane's vibe in a relationship.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah. Because he had seen his like high school, someone he dated in high school on the dating app. Right.
Yeah.
Did you say that already?
Yeah.
Oh,
whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. Whatever. So that was kind of like episode 1. The business is struggling. Shane is distracted with the dating app and seeing someone he previously knew.
Yeah.
You know, what's the Phil is the dad's name?
Phil is the Shane's dad. And then Will was supposed to be like firing that guy. Phil
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So a little bit of turmoil within the season. They're already trying to figure out how to make ends meet and where they have to make cuts. So we're kind of getting a little bit of that dynamic. We're kind of also getting more of that insight on Phil and his controlling mannerisms within the business, and how that's kind of preventing Will and Shane from actually having any influence. And because of that, Shane is still pretty aloof to everything. And Will is trying, but again, he doesn't get much of an opportunity from Phil. So we're kind of getting that dynamic from episode 1.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And then obviously Will was supposed to fire the guy at the other one, but he had
Yeah.
been working there for like 20 years. So there was that whole
Yeah, he had gone to like this high school graduation and stuff.
yes,
He was
like
a
family friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his I guess location was failing really
He
bad
was
and
doing
like
such a bad job, and
so bad.
Will had gone up to Phil. All the names rhyme.
I know, right?
Well. But he was like, "Oh, he came to our family graduation. I've known him since I was a kid." And Phil's just like, "Well, don't say any of that shit when you're firing." That was crazy, just so gross.
That was crazy.
But we also got introduced to Phil's new girlfriend as well,
Bonnie.
And so we kind of got the dynamic as well that she is always around with Phil when he's coming to these business meetings with Shane and with Will. And so we kind of get the dynamic that there's a little bit of tense energy between Bonnie and Shane and Will and everybody because it's clear the guys, Shane and Will aren't really the biggest fan of Bonnie.
Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah, they don't really like that she's a spiritual woman, that she leans into like that side of herself.
They call her a witch.
They're just like kind of disrespectful to her, I guess, like, I don't know, practice, spirituality.
Like, well, what her profession is. I mean, like, we learn later in the season that she has like a PhD
like a wellness
or a master's or something, and was practicing medicine as like a normal psychologist before she moved into her more spiritual practice. So we got more of that backstory about her a little bit later on. But initially, episode 1, we're kind of seeing the dynamic. It's not really comfortable. There's a lot of tension because Phil is very controlling of the business while managing his new relationship. And so there's a lot of tension between Phil, Will, and Shane. Clearly.
A lot of very clear tension between the three of them.
And then episode 2 was the secret shopper episode.
That was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
objectification. Insane. And the thing is that one, what are you?
Is there water near you?
Water's right here.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, one, the objectification in that episode, I'm really glad that they covered it. I'm glad that they did an episode on it because, again, more awareness needs to be brought to these things, especially in these male-dominated fields, like mechanics and those sorts of things. Like, it isn't okay to treat customers like that, to treat people like that. Just because they're attractive or whatever the case may be. But essentially, they sent a secret
secret shopper
to all the Valley Forge locations with the intention of essentially, figuring out how they were talking to customers.
Yeah, and especially they were trying to see if they were like giving specific shoppers, giving them like discounts or like, I don't know.
Yeah, because they had
really
found some research that they
weren't
upselling a lot. So they were trying to figure out why there wasn't a lot of upsells going on.
Yeah,
and so the theory was that a lot of attractive women were getting off with discounts and things like that instead of upsells, which obviously was bad for business. So
and it was happening. It was happening. They proved that it was happening.
Yeah, it was.
So that whole thing was going on, and like Dave was trying to hold on to that though. Dave was trying to like catch Will. Basically, he was trying to catch Will out and like make him out to be a really bad person and catch him being a snake. Exactly.
Sneaky. Because again, Dave's whole plot, now that he's been demoted, he's now underneath Will, which is immediate change in the dynamic that they had previously. And so Dave's plot this season, he's like trying to do get his marriage back, but he's also in a way trying to undermine Will to get more power in the company. So he's schmoozing a little bit, brown nosing, if you will, with Phil, in order to get that position of power back. So that's kind of why Dave is moving the way he is.
Yeah, no, he is trying very hard to be doing that. I mean, while she was talking to Will, he was like, be more seductive. What are you, just not looking sexy enough and like all this stuff?
That was crazy.
And he was being such a creeper.
He's in a van with the windows covered, in a van by himself, eating food, And if you've seen Dave, you know he's kind of a slob in the show. And he is literally like trying to coach this woman on how to entrap his own cousin
Yes.
in the business to then out him to the boss. It was just a crazy thing.
So crazy.
And then I'm trying to think what was going on in the background of that episode.
Let's see. There was that.
Oh, that was when Will brought Kyla to the women's networking event.
Oh, that was episode 3.
Oh, that was episode 3?
That was Women's Business. But episode 2, The Secret Shopper, they were kind of, I guess in that one, they were kind of finding out that the business wasn't doing well and that they were trying to like figure out maybe which locations were worst off.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
And like which ones they were like, they aren't treating the customers well enough. They're not upselling. They're not, they're doing discounts. They're doing all these things that are bad for business. And making the money, hurting the money aspect.
Yeah. And so afterwards, throughout the episode, Phil's kind of laying the hammer down, calling the locations that failed the test, trying to figure out why they're doing what they did. And while he was on the phone call was hysterical. But just crazy some of the responses from some of the managers at some of the Valley Forge locations.
Oh, when they were talking to the woman? Or
no, well, when Phil called one of the managers, he was just like, I'm calling about the secret shopper that we sent into your store. And he was like, what, was it the black guy? And Phil was just like, no, and I don't like the way you just said that.
I don't even remember
you don't
that.
Remember the phone call? Oh, man. Yeah, and then he's just like, we sent in a woman shopper and you were flirting with her. And he was like, what? The black guy's wife? And then, yeah, it was just crazy. Like, that was
my God.
I can't believe this.
I can't either.
We'll have to rewatch episode 2. But yeah, that was like a funny interaction.
Oh my God.
But yeah, Phil is just dealing with chaos. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces within the business.
And that is causing a lot of turmoil in his relationship with Bonnie.
Right. Yeah, definitely. But we kind of get to see how he was like very nice to the secret shopper. Didn't objectify her in the same ways as the other managers. And so she really appreciated that. So it was a good look on him. We kind of already know that Will is the nice guy. If you watch the show, So we
he's
knew
the nice
that.
guy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And she actually felt bad, and she was the one that told them that she was a secret shopper and was
exactly
apologized and everything because Will was so nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then sold out Dave, who was in the van outside, but who called the police on him? Kyla called the police on him. She was like, who's sitting out there in this van?
I know. Yeah. She was convinced that something nefarious was happening.
Oh my
God.
Was right.
Not
she was
accurate,
right when the cops opened the back of the van and saw Dave looking at the secret shopper's Instagram. If you know, you know.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's crazy. He is a sexual
insane.
deviant.
Yeah, he really is. He and his wife worked it out, though.
Yeah, they worked it out. I guess she was fine with it as long as he wasn't acting like a
crazy
baby.
Yeah. And then like we were trying to, or like I had mentioned before, episode 3 was like the Women in Business conference with Will and Kyla.
That was crazy. That whole event. What even was that? That was so random. That was hilarious, but so random.
Yeah, it really was. It was super random. But, that episode was also super important because it also had, it covered Shane's panic attack. He went to the gym. He worked out super hard. But then he got caught checking a woman out in the gym, very obviously.
And then was chatting to the guy and was like, "Oh, you let her out of the house like that?"
Well, because it was basically like one of those YouTube channels, like one of those gotcha things. So like he was being recorded, and then the person who was recording him came over to ask him questions after catching him. Shane was getting berated with the questions, having all these thoughts and whatever, because earlier in the episode he had watched somebody pass away when they were at the bar. They just like dropped dead right in front of him, and so with that in mind, he had gone to the gym had that panic attack. And he went to the doctor, and it exemplified a lot of real issues. I think a lot of men out there are afraid to be honest with the doctor and say those sorts of things, and almost feel embarrassed when they get sort of news, especially around things, regarding mental health. It's like, almost like an embarrassment thing, when it should have been something of like, how can I deal with this? But
Yeah.
instead, Shane was like very embarrassed, very man-like, didn't want to share his true feelings or what had happened with the doctor. And so the doctor was just like, all right, well, guess we're done here.
Yeah, and they gave him I forget. They gave him some anti-anxiety medicine at
Okay,
first,
okay.
and that's when he was like super kind of like
Loopy,
walking
right?
around.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was that episode.
Was
but
that?
I don't
could be
remember,
wrong.
but yeah, I didn't.
I just assumed because in the description it was saying that Shane's fitness kick leaves him feeling the burn, and I figured that was the
I
episode
wasn't sure
because
if
they
that's when
only
they
showed
saw
him
the
go
guy
to the
dying.
gym a single time. So we he's not the most gym heavy
Yeah,
character.
and they were like, you weren't working out that hard.
Right.
And so he was having the panic attack from like the whole.
They checked the fucking camera feed and they were like, yeah, the staff said you weren't working out.
Yeah, that was so crazy.
But then the women in business event was pretty nuts as well.
Yeah, well,
tons of tea and drama.
I know, it's some like community group or something, like the women in business group,
right?
And
which
so
it was
drama.
Again one of those things where I mean they were kind of making a pass at like the whole women in business with like the drama and the tea and the woman at the door asking about her clothes instead of being like a confident like businesswoman, you know. But we find out as through the night she's like an assistant and they have a rocky relationship and stuff. But at least initially they're kind of having a pass at it, in my opinion. You know? Because we know Kyla is not an owner of the business and she was presented to the people of this event as if she was an owner, which was not true.
Right, which just genuinely wasn't true. And so Will was like kind of lying to the women, and he was also there. Why for a women in business event? But so they basically thought he was gay for the whole episode.
It was hysterical. They were like dressing him. He was like trying on
and
clothes.
He loved it. He really loved it. he was having a great time.
He was keying. He was getting all the tea, all the gossip. He was like reverberating it back to Kyla.
He's such a gossip.
He
is
really
such
is.
a gossip.
He loved it. He loved it.
Like he is always ready to talk shit about anybody.
For real.
With Bonnie was talking shit about Phil when he was
right. Yeah, he's
always ready for the
smoke. He's for the girls for real. Phil's an ally, or not? Will is an ally for sure.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, his character is for real. Yeah, that is pretty funny. But his character is hysterical. So it ended up being a mess. Especially when Shane and Cal showed up, that's when all the drama kind of came to its head.
Yeah,
but overall, it was a pretty funny episode.
It was a good episode.
Good. Lots of tea in that one.
Facts.
Let's see what happened in 4.
Episode 4.
That was the one with Phil's. No, that was the one with Shane's fitness kick. Did I say that already? 4 was the one where he passed out and they had the anxiety and stuff. That was episode 4. That's my bad.
You're fine.
So we already talked about that.
Yeah, and then Wings was the one with the death.
Wings was. Got it. Okay. And so in that one, Shane actually meets a woman. So in this one, we're actually seeing Shane kind of chatting to a woman at the bar, ends up taking her home. They sleep together. And then, what were you saying about the trauma he experienced because of the banging on the wall?
He was having like kind of PTSD because he had earlier in the day gone to the bar and like, he was feeling really down, and this guy and him were just like, he was staring at this guy, watching him eat and thinking to himself like, wow, that's me in the future. And then the guy was just like staring at him at one point, eating his chicken wings or whatever. And Shane was like, hey, asshole, like, what's up? And then the guy just drops dead.
Yeah, that was crazy.
At the bar.
That was pretty nuts.
Yeah, so he had like a pretty rough time with that. Had like every time he heard a bang, it was like flashing him back to the guy who he just saw die. And then he met a woman at the at a bar he was at, and then like bar. He said he was going to church or something, and then it was like
a bar that was having a play on a church. They were all dressed like nuns and stuff, but it was actually a bar.
Yes,
so that was pretty cool.
So he met a woman that works at that bar,
right? But she wasn't on like working at the moment; she was sitting at the bar. So they met. They go back. They had their night. She ends up helping Shane with his anxiety that he was feeling because of the trauma he experienced by their intercourse because they were banging on a wall, which kept reminding Shane of the guy's head hitting the table of the bar.
Yep.
And essentially, after it happened a few times, him making weird sounds and stuff, it finally went away.
Mm-hmm.
But in that episode, well, actually, we should finish with that because Shane wakes up in the morning in this episode, right?
Yeah.
Does he wake up in the morning in this episode or no?
I think this episode 6 is when he wakes up in the morning
so
and had that whole dream about the village,
right? Which that came up a couple of times.
Yeah.
This weird flashback of a village or this dream of a village.
Yeah,
that Shane is having
in a village.
Yeah, because he falls asleep at one other point in the season, and it also comes up because he's thinking of people in the village, and then it comes up again when he takes Bonnie's potion. In the last episode. So a couple of times it's this medieval, maybe even earlier than medieval, a tribal village essentially.
Yeah, literally.
So that's kind of an interesting
feature. I don't know. He relates to it, I guess.
Yeah. But also in this episode, we kind of got a little bit of more backstory on Will. So we got to see a little bit of how and why Will was fired literally for no reason.
Yeah.
And we met his former coworker that he was about to go into business with, but didn't go into business with. And now go ahead.
And then he got fired from his job.
He got fired shortly thereafter from the company that he thought that he was going to be successful with. And he turned down his friend to stay loyal to the company. And then the company fired him. So he met up with a friend. It brought up a whole bunch of emotions. His friend gives him the card. I'm trying to think what else happened with that.
I guess Will thought he was offering him a job. He still wanted to work with him. Yeah. He was like, oh, okay, so that's an option that I have. And so he was kind of reminiscing on that and almost regretting the fact that he didn't go into business with him.
Yeah. So we got to learn a little bit more about Will and how he ended up at Valley Forge. So that was really cool, getting a little bit more of that backstory about him and why that came up.
Yes. And then I'm pretty sure we're talking about the locked room, right? Episode 6. Are we on?
Yeah, let's hop to it. Yeah.
Oh, hop to. Well, because that same episode kind of blending, is when Jill, the high school woman, showed up at their work.
Right after Shane slept with the other woman. Right. So the next day, his kind of high school crush or ex-girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, shows up at his job, which was a whole funny thing because Shane had sent these very cringy Instagram DMs to her, sending so many ha 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 ha's.
I know.
It was so
Come
cringy.
on, man. Yeah, and then he literally freaked himself out and deleted his entire account.
Deleted his whole Instagram.
Didn't even try and delete the messages or unsend the messages.
Yeah, nah, just
said deactivate, account. Delete whole account.
Crazy.
You were like, what?
So she was like, yeah, I tried to respond to you, but your account was gone when I got there. And he was like, oh, yeah. So anyway, he sets up a date with her literally the day after sleeping with the other woman. And then he's just like, oh, yeah, I'm going to forget about the other woman.
I know.
And that was partially because what did he see when he woke up?
Yeah, when he woke up, he saw that she had a protest sign that said, my body, my choice.
A bunch of art on the wall.
Of art on the walls. And so he was super judgmental of the fact that she was a liberal and called her Lucy the Lib in his phone.
Yeah, that was her contact in his phone. So Shane pretty much doing typical Shane stuff with, how he leans politically. But it was pretty ironic because then when he went on the date with Jill, his high school sweetheart or whatever you want to call it, he wasn't able to actually get into the restaurant despite their reservations because of his tennis shoes. And so he was going back and forth with the hostess, essentially like, oh, I bet you don't allow, if you don't allow tennis shoes, I bet you don't allow hats or t-shirts either. And she was like, no, we don't. It's against our policy. And he was like, that's racist. That's discrimination. That's that's racism. And she was like, what did she say? What are you, a liberal?
Oh, yeah. She said literally, what are you, a liberal?
And Shane was like, so offended.
Yeah.
Because it's just ironic, right? He has that idea in his head and marked Lucy the Lib because of her poster. But then on the flip side was when he got discriminated against and wasn't allowed to go into a restaurant, he could then see the issue with the discrimination and those sorts of things. And then when he presented his argument to the establishment, they essentially called him woke, said he
Yeah.
was a lib, and he did not like that.
No,
But
he
I
did
think it
not.
definitely exemplified the irony with a lot of people's beliefs. Like, they're claiming to be something, they think that way, but then when it comes down to an individual basis, as soon as they get impacted by it,
They don't like
they don't
it.
like that
They
side
don't like
anymore.
it.
Exactly. So I think they did a good job bringing that up because that's an important
Yes.
thing. So that was pretty funny that Shane had to experience
I
that.
know, yeah, that was pretty funny. And it was also, I mean, that whole thing, him with his high school girlfriend, was so interesting. I was like, bro,
That was
what?
lame. That
Because
was,
he's just
yeah.
like, he can't make a conversation at all. Like,
Yeah, he
he
is pretty painful in
he's
convo.
so, oh my gosh, so awkward.
He's
I'm
good with the
like,
guys, but
he
he's
is
rough
not
with
good with
women.
women.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, the whole time doesn't ask her a single question about herself, about her kids, about her
Kids,
divorce,
life,
like about anything.
anything she's done
And
since high school.
yeah,
And it's like
so
they're like trying to
it's been
relive
20
high school
years, bro.
memories, and you guys are in your 30s. Like, you're bringing
You're
up hanging
almost
out in the
40.
woods and like reminiscing on high school. Grow up, guys. Come on.
Yeah, and
Surely some things have happened in your life since high school. I mean, this woman has 2 kids and was married, for God's sake. Like,
I
did you
know.
travel somewhere cool? Like, come on. You're talking about high school.
I know. And like she definitely realized that after their date night. Like,
Right, because she starts ghosting Shane.
yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Because, she like, they got caught by the police and she freaked out and like jumped in a ditch and then was like,
Yep, dirty.
I'm a fucking grown woman with children. I can't be acting like this.
Exactly. She was like reliving her childish freedom, whatever, with Shane, but it just wasn't reality. I think as soon as she like snapped back and the kids and the how, then it was just so unrealistic.
Yeah,
So
truly.
they were kind of fizzling out. And at that same time, that was in the same episode, this was when Phil was going to Bonnie and had that roast sesh that you referenced earlier, right?
The roast session?
Like when Will went to Bonnie to try and apologize, and then they started
on behalf
venting
of
about
Shane,
Phil.
and then he was getting like healed, and
exactly.
she was like, yeah, I don't know. That was such a weird interaction too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he went to Bonnie's practice to like apologize to her on behalf of Shane and try and like make things right with her between her and Phil, because Phil blames Shane. But then she's like, this has literally nothing to do with Shane. This is all about Phil. Like, Phil's kind of an idiot for not seeing that, because how is your son the reason you, a grown-ass man, are in an issue with your girlfriend? Like, your son is not the problem.
Facts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Bonnie is a good character. I like Bonnie. So I think she had a good role like throughout the whole nipple out thing though.
That was
Will.
so weird. Crazy. He was like, Bonnie, your nipples out. And she was like, oh yeah, I felt that.
I felt it.
We were like, what?
Crazy, bro. And then the volley episode, which we referenced earlier, which we got a little bit of backstory about Kyla.
Yeah.
We kind of learned that she was a volleyball player, and then at a bar, her and Cal were out because they were the only ones who wanted to continue the night after closing up shop. They essentially saw all of Kyla's old volleyball teammates out at the same bar.
Yeah.
And so she was like, what the F? They're having a reunion without me, and I was on the team. And so, yeah, it kind of turned into a whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, because she was basically, it revealed that she was bullied in high school and kind of like,
her teammates.
Yeah, bullied by her teammates and kind of left out all the time. And she was just like kind of reliving those feelings and seeing the reunion happening without her and them not inviting her, but also lying about it because she went over to them and they were just like, oh yeah, we just got together, we text and all of this stuff. And then we come to find out later they're low-key obsessed with her because they have a whole group chat named after her. And I was like, damn, I mean, for people who don't like her, you sure have a lot to do with her.
Like Drizzy says, those ain't my haters, those are my secret admirers.
Yes, facts, actually.
Facts. So that was a good one. I love getting the backstory on Kyla. I think her character is also growing into the story more.
Yes,
she's getting more screen time and a bigger role. And I really love to see that because, again, it's a very male-dominated field, but they're doing a good job of incorporating her story into the show. So I kind of really appreciate that.
Definitely. And it also exemplified like her closeness and her friendship with Cal and Shane, which was super cute as well.
That was cute. That was such a heartfelt moment.
Yes,
that was wholesome.
genuinely.
That was pulling on the heartstrings for sure. That moment when she like sat back and just looked at them when they were like playing volleyball in the garage, that was super
she was just
cute.
like smiling.
That
was really nice.
And then we had the whole thing when, Shane kind of, like we mentioned, had the falling out with Jill where they kind of weren't really working out. But at the same time, he was trying to end things before the falling out with Jill. He had tried to end things with Lucy the Lib before they had gotten into a fight. Lucy's roommate was Jill's babysitter. So everybody knew about everybody. It just was a whole mess for Shane. And then at the same time, Will was having an existential crisis and had taken like a week off of work.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much we can get into. I feel like, because like, I know, because we could talk so much more about Shane's growth with regards to the women he was dating.
I know, he read the book on that Will's book on vaginas, so he could learn how to orally stimulate a woman, and he finally got a woman to climax.
Turning into an eater out here.
Good job, Shane. Fact. So we had to learn from his cousin. So that was something. But, he read the book himself. But it was, again, pretty funny. Then we had the whole Taka Tires.
I know.
Was it Taka Tires,
I'm
right?
Like, should we just talk about the rest of this tomorrow?
I don't know. We have two.
All right.
We're almost there. The whole Taka Tires saga, that kind of brought up Dave and his perversions a little more. He then learns that his wife is also cheating on him. And he went to a strip club with his old friend. So it was like a whole
blackmailed.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But they ended up getting into business and becoming the exclusive retailers of this Korean brand's tires. But the big thing that kind of got revealed at the end of the season is that
Shane and Will are taking over Valley Forge Auto. Is that what you were talking about?
Shane and Will are now the new owners of Valley Forge Auto. Shane is now going to be a dad. Lucy is pregnant. So again, season 4, there's a lot of stories to follow. There's a lot of things that can happen with Shane and Will as the owner, with Shane going to be an expected dad. So I hope Netflix brings it back, season 4 of Tires. We need it. Insert it. Let's go.
Yes. So
so those are our thoughts on Tires season 3. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's worth the watch. Fantastic season.
Yeah. So if you made it this far,
thanks for watching.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.